Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new video. Now something I kind of noticed recently is that there are actually a ton of very useful tools for old school RuneScape. Now people obviously know about runelite and the RuneScape Wiki, stuff like that, but there are quite a few other very useful tools out there that I personally have used quite a bit myself, and they can give you some extra information that isn't really available from any other source. Now these are just my personal opinions. The video is not sponsored in any way. No one paid me to say anything about these websites, but with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get started. Now any tool or website that I mention will be posted in the description if you're interested in checking them out. Now first up here, I want to talk about oldschool.tools. Well, kind of self-explanatory. They have a bunch of calculators and old school RuneScape tools. Now there are a ton of different calculators here, including skill calculators, alch calculators, but there are two features here that I really want to highlight that I think aren't really available elsewhere as far as I'm aware. Now the coolest one here is the DPS calculator. Now I'm not really sure if this is based on the Google spreadsheet calculator, but regardless, it is still in beta. Now I really like it because it's a bit more user-friendly than the spreadsheet, but first up here we're going to select our combat style. Let's just go with strength for now. Now you can actually load from the high scores. Unfortunately, they're not completely up to date, but regardless, we still managed to load in our stats. Okay, first up here, let's select a weapon. And it has an autofill feature, which I really like. And we can just quickly go down here and select our gear. We'll just go in pretty much max strength here just for an example. It's quite user-friendly and quick to go through this. The offhand slot is blocked off because of course we have the bludgeon. Okay, so there we go, we put in our gear. Now down at the bottom here, we can select our attack style, which for this, we're just gonna go with pound. We'll activate a superset here as well. Now at the top left, it will say completed. Now we just have to go ahead and select our target. I will hit a monster here. Now, like I said, this calculator is in beta, so they don't actually have all of the monsters yet, but if you really wanted to, you could go ahead and grab the stats from the wiki, put them in here, and you get the same result. Let's just go ahead and select a green dragon. There we go, we got all the stats in there. And now we move on to the result, which has a bunch of very useful information. For one, it has our chance to hit at 81.42%, our max hit, as well as our DPS calculation of 6.78. Okay, so now for an example, if we wanted to change it to a more appropriate weapon like the rapier. With the defender, the DPS is 7.3. Now we can objectively say that the rapier is better against green dragons than a bludgeon. Obviously, that's not groundbreaking information, but for the minuscule differences between gears, having a calculator like this can be very useful, especially if you're planning on grinding out a lot of kills, because over hundreds of hours, well, it will save you a lot of time. And the second tool here that I think is going to be extremely useful is the quest planner. Now I've already put in my data here, so it's already loaded my skills in here. Now my one gripe here is it doesn't automatically show you which quests you have done. Unfortunately, I don't think that data is available. So you have to go manually through here and take off all the quests that you've done, which realistically could take, well, a fair while. Regardless, I think this tool has a lot of potential and I hope it gets a few updates in the near future. Okay, so that is it for oldschool.tools. Okay, so next up here we have a website called OSRSBestinSlot. This is something I've used quite a bit. Now my two favorite tools on this website are the BestinSlot tool, which makes sense, that is the name of the website, and the boss gear section as well. Now we have to scroll down here to the actual tool here. And my one gripe with this is there is a lot of ads. Don't blame the person for doing that at all. Obviously I understand you want to get paid as well, but it does detract a little bit from the legibility of the tool. Okay, so once again, we can go ahead and import our stats with the username here. Now that we have the stats here, it should only suggest things that we actually can wear. Now, what I really like about this is you can quickly go ahead and look at max strength, max magic, max range, and then you can kind of downgrade the gear and figure out what the next best piece of gear is if for some reason you can't wear it or you can't afford it. Okay, so for example, we can do max mage, which is going to show us what is going to give us the highest magic attack bonus. Now you have to keep in mind that it's not always going to give you what theoretically is best in slot, just what gives you the highest stat in that category. So for example, if you pick strength, it's going to show you the leaf bladed battle axe, but we all know that's really not the best weapon to wear. It just happens to have the highest strength bonus on a one-handed weapon. However, for max mage, that looks pretty much right. Now, if for some reason we can't afford the gear, we can go over here to the left and click show worst item. So the next best in slot item based on only magic attack is going to be the Arim's robe top. Then it's going to be the Dagonai robe, then the Infinity top. And we can do the same thing with these weapons from Kodai wand to Trident of the Swamp. Now down here you can actually sort by percent damage, for example magic damage. We can sort by prayer gear, which I think is pretty interesting. And at any time, if you want to switch to two-handed weapons, you can go down here. select two-handed, and now we're going to have the best two-handed weapon with no offhand. So for strength, apparently that is going to be the Elder Maul, and for mage, that is going to be this weird weapon. I also find it really interesting for finding really weird pieces of gear that actually have pretty decent stats on them. So if you're kind of a mid or low level, this tool could also be very useful. And last up here we have the boss tool, which I guess we have to scroll down here a bit. I like it because it has a similar layout, except it's just for boss gear. So for example, if we go down here to Zulrah, now up here we can select our setup. If we do, for example, advanced hybrid, scroll down here, it's going to show us the best gear to be using. And once again, for example, if we don't have the Sanguinesti staff, we can go and show a worse item, which is going to be the Trident of the Swamp, and then Trident of the Seas, and then Iban staff, and that's pretty much all you can use. And you can do that for any item. So Ring of Suffering would be the Ring of Recoil. That's really your only option. Eternal Boot goes down to Infinity Boots. Mystic Boots, kind of your only option there. Offhand goes from Arcane to Mage's Book and Book of Darkness. So it's really nice when you are learning a new boss. And I really like having an interactive way to do this. So I find this website to be extremely handy. Okay, so next up here we have a website called Temple OSRS, and it's pretty similar to Crystal Math Labs, but personally I like it a lot more. And there's a couple reasons for that. First up here, I like the layout quite a bit more. It's just a bit cleaner, easier on the eyes, and the website just seems to work a bit better. Now, as I haven't used it very much, my actual stats aren't going to really be up to date. Now, one thing I really like, and one thing that I believe was missing from Crystal Math Labs is, for one, having more up-to-date EHP methods, but also listing what the method was. That was one of my major problems with Crystal Math Labs. So for example, I'll be scrolling down this giant list of experience rates here, but it doesn't really say what the method is. I guess you're just supposed to be in the know at that point. But anyway, here, if we scroll down, we can see what, for example, Chinning, Monkey Madness Caves, you apparently can get almost 600k defense experience an hour. That's crazy. One I was trying to get some information on for quite a while was Neck Work. Now, essentially what it is you go to neck reels with a Din's Bulwark and a bunch of melee gear, and you have to have 2 alt accounts who are going to be spec transferring you constantly, going back to their house and coming back, and pretty much on your main account you just keep using these special attacks. So it's kind of like a melee version of Chinning, which I think is fascinating, but I would never have known about that had it not just listed this method here. So I really like that. For example, we got cooking, we have wines, lobsters, one-tick karambwan. Fire making, we got magic logs and firebwans, which I believe is essentially just a combination of fire making and cooking karambwans in one tick. But yeah, I just think there's more information here, which I like. Now, granted, they do have quite a few of the same features as Crystal Math Labs, but overall, I just think the website is cleaner. If we come over here to pets, ooh, nice, Canadian #1. There's a competition for the amount of pets. Apparently, only 3 people have all the pets in the entire game. We have the overall high scores, which shows you 4 people currently have 200 mil all, and it shows you how long ago that they reached that goal. You can see Lynx Titan has been maxed for almost a year and a half, almost 200 days before the next person, which is crazy. And it also kind of like that it shows the country as well. So apparently this is the highest ranked Canadian, so let's go have a look. What skills does he have left? Ooh, well, he's screwed. So anyway, if you're looking for an alternative to Crystal Math Labs, I would definitely go check it out. I'm personally going to be using it probably to track my main account, so I would highly recommend it. Okay, and last up here, I have a few honorable mentions. We have the Oatrix.net, which is created by, well, none other than the Oatrix. Now, what I really like about this website is a lot of his videos have been transcribed. For example, 101 tips and tricks. You can actually go ahead and read it if you don't really feel like skimming through a ton of videos. All of the tips have been listed with an image to go along with it, which I know must have taken a long time, so props to him for doing all that. Now, I know a lot of people, including myself, like to read information more so than trying to skip through a video, especially when you're looking for a tutorial, tips, stuff like that. You shouldn't stop watching my videos, that's not what I meant at all, but I really like the freedom of being able to scroll through all of the tips. Now, there's also going to be other guides. For example, here is a Winter Talk guide, which has been transcribed with images, so definitely props to him for doing all that. Okay, another honorable mention here is not really a useful tool, but it is a Fashion'scape tool, so for those who are really into RuneScape fashion, I think I featured this in one of my update videos, but again, a very cool tool. For example, here we can choose a color, which I'm just very impressed that it has a color picker here. And if we go with, for example, green, it will show you some items that actually have a similar color to that, which I think is really cool. Once I get mega rich and I start flexing on kids, I'm gonna come to this website and find me some fresh fashion. And last up here we have the free-to-play wiki, which is a progress tracker for free-to-play accounts. I've highlighted in the past the free-to-play community, and they have a really nice, clean website here, which shows you some of the highest ranked players in the free-to-play community. But anyway guys, that is going to be pretty much it. Now obviously I'm omitting some of the most popular ones like runelite, the RuneScape wiki, stuff like that. I know a lot of people already know about this, so today I was just trying to go over some of the lesser known ones. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, I would appreciate it if you left the video a like, and I will see you next time.